Banana.
I'll take a banana with me.
Not very long ago, I went out to Astoria, Queens to meet with musician Stephan Said.
Man, I bought these like yesterday, and they were like almost still a little green. You want anything else?
I'm good right now.
All right.
We tried to tune up his son's battered guitar so we could play some music together. But I was mostly interested in talking about Stephan's music.
Early one morning when the sun was down, Flatbush part of New York town.
Now, you might have heard of Stephan. He made a little national splash back in 1997. Back then, he was known as Stephan Smith. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But back in 1997, he released this ballad. And you might recognize the person singing backup vocals. That's Patti Smith, the rock and roll legend. And no, they are not related.
Dragging me from his holding cell, new tune what no tongue can tell. Oh, one body got a heel and grow.
They're singing about Abner Louima, a Haitian man who was in the news headlines back then. He'd been brutally beaten and sexually assaulted by police in New York City.
So Abner in the hospital for a while, for a policeman bound for trial. And near 10,000 march today, some set to fight and some to pray. Oh, one body got a heel and grow.
Stephan's dad is from Iraq and his mom's from Austria. But Stephan was born in Ohio, and he spent some of his teen years in Appalachia. He actually lived in Monroe and Greenbrier County in southern West Virginia, which is where my grandmother comes from. He says that he was drawn to the people in this area because they make authentic, heartfelt music that's been handed down through the generations. Stephan plays guitar, he plays the fiddle, he plays banjo, and all kinds of instruments. The Village Voice and Billboard magazine have compared him to Woody Guthrie. And he was friends with Pete Seeger. I wanted to talk to Stephan because I think he makes us and them kind of music. From West Virginia Public Broadcasting and PRX, this is Us and Them. It's the podcast where we tell stories from America's culture divides. I'm Trey Kay. We're talking to Stephan Said because he's a musician who seeks out culture and political battles. And I mean, he really seeks them out. He's taken his guitar to war zones in Iraq. He's been to refugee camps. He went to Houston after Hurricane Harvey killed dozens of people and caused so much damage. And when he gets to these places, he sits down and he makes music with the local folks. He says he's using his guitar and fiddle and singing to bridge divides between people. One of his current projects is a series of videos.
I'm Stephan Said, and this is Borderless, the news series about people at the front lines of change.
I host a docuseries now which follows me around the world as I go to kind of frontline situations and meet people doing amazing things to make a better world. And, you know, guitar, fiddle in hand, and I make music wherever I go. Yes.
I'm just a refugee from a world where people are cruel and living unequal.
These videos are beautifully shot. And they often show Stephan in crowds, talking and singing with people. And frequently, there are scads of young, smiling kids climbing over him and trying to touch his guitar.
I go to these places because when you're in the face of tragedy or difficulty or conflict or a natural disaster, that's where the best in people also comes out. And that best in people usually transcends all the boundaries around between us. right? It doesn't make any difference when you're at the front lines of some hurricane or conflict zone what political party you're in. People got to just help each other. They got to get by, and the best people comes out often. You see the resilience that if we could amplify that, I think we really could bring our world together.
Are there some of the places that you go to where you're actually in danger?
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, imagine I'm in Iraq, or I'm in if I'm in Somalia or something like that, or whatever, or if in favelas or something like that in Brazil. You have to go to a place like that, and you have to have part of your crew has to be local. Otherwise you're just going to be a target. I've been lucky, I guess, too. Maybe the worst thing hasn't happened to me, right?
Probably if I were to go to one of these places, I'd probably have a recorder like you see in front of you, or I might bring a camera, or I might bring a video camera or something like that. But it seems like your tools are a guitar and a fiddle.
Right. Yeah, I'm not without cameras and microphones, but people are introduced to me as, hey, this artist who writes songs about changing the world, So they kind of have this idea that, hey, maybe I guess that I'm a pretty straight up person and well-intentioned and whatever.
There's a video of you with two young boys. One is kind of doing kind of like a vocal beatbox type of thing, and another person is kind of doing a bit of a hip hop rap type of thing, and you're playing the guitar, right?
Yeah. Those were they were Syrian kids, and they were in their late teens, and one of them was from Aleppo, and the other one was from Homs. And, two of the most destroyed. I mean, you look at the videos of Homs, it's basically flattened. And these are, 18, 19-year-old kids, and I met them in Piraeus Port in Athens, basically camped out on the asphalt, which, at its peak, it had, this is just the port, literally the parking lot where the ships come in, and there were 6,000 people there. And these two young gentlemen had met there. They didn't know each other beforehand, but they were both really into hip-hop.
ماشي لحالي الطريق كله عتمي الغربة والله صعبي ما فرحة مني يا أمي انحبست جوا الوطن لأني فتحته لتمي.
You go through a refugee camp, man. Put the microphone in front of everybody you meet, and every 10 out of 10 stories are going to blow your mind, right? And here are these kids, and he had this phenomenal rap about starting in homes and what reality was for him, and how he tried to speak out and been put in prison and then got out, and how he fled with his family. And I was just like, dude, we got to record this.
How quickly does that happen?
It happened in the course of about 15 minutes. As soon as he said it, as soon as I heard the song, I was like, let's go over here and sit down, and I'll get out my guitar and just play something underneath it, and you beatbox, and we'll just lay it down. And then there it was. They were so happy, and here we have a document that, yeah, it's cool.
And you haven't played with him again since?
But we stay in touch. They're both friends of mine on social networks, stuff like that, and I watch everything that's up with them. I mean, that's the amazing thing, the whole concept behind Borderless is that it's real, and for me to then go back to these places and to stay in touch with these people. If I film in Houston for Hurricane Harvey, or in Iraq or wherever, that let's say 8 months later, I go back there and I work with these people again, and we continue the work and deepen it in the community and spread it out, and over the course of a few years, expand basically and grow a global network of all these groups and individuals. So it's intrinsic in the idea that we build something, unlike, let's say, a typical travel show, like a food show, where they basically are in and out, and that's it. It's just about the individual content, and there's no sustained communication with the community. Obviously, I'm really I'm collaborating with people in these places. I'm not just featuring them.
It's kind of magical, actually. These kids find themselves in a desperate situation, living in a refugee camp. And then there's this guy with a guitar and recording equipment who reminds them they're more than just refugees. And he serves as kind of a midwife to their creativity.
And the type of thing that happened between you and these two boys, or you called them young men, so maybe I should too, does that type of thing happen over and over again as you make these journeys?
We made our first full-length pilot on the refugee crisis. and I'm in about 17, 18 different settlements of informal or of formal, official camps or informal camps, or in streets, parks, whatever. And I'm making music everywhere I go or meet people. Like when I was on the border of Fyrom, of Macedonia, northern Greece, right by Idomeni, where the biggest camp was, where all the news was about. I meet these Kurdish musicians and they're masters. Like one of them is this highly respected, like local master in northern Syria. And here he's fled, and several of his students from the area in northern Syria fled with him. And they're unbelievable musicians, not like pretty good. And the footage is unbelievable. I mean, there we are. They've got the bazookies and saz or whatever, and we're sitting on the edge of a field in dirt. And they're, 5 of them singing in harmonies with each other over top of the drum, and it's phenomenal. Those moments happen, right? The sun is setting on the other side, behind the mountain, which is on the other side of the border, where they want to go to, and we're sitting there at the foot and they're making just heavenly music. And I say that as somebody who's heard me, all kinds of amazing music, whether or not it's in, Monroe County, West Virginia, or in Pakistan, right?
Stephan says the Borderless Project is kept afloat by grants from individuals and foundations. After a break, we'll hear about some of his earlier efforts to support himself with his music and how that led to a difficult decision.
Major label record execs, 2 of them, had told me that there's no way I could have a career in America with an Arabic name.
I'm Trey Kay, and this is Us and Them, which is supported in part by the West Virginia Humanities Council, the CRC Foundation, and the Daywood Foundation.
In difficult times, music gives us peace, brings us together, and helps heal us. It calms our nerves and brightens our days. That's why we're bringing you classic episodes of Mountain Stage on air and in our podcast. This is Larry Gross, host of Mountain Stage. Find something that's familiar or brand new and feel the power of live music on our website, mountainstage.org.
We're talking with Stephan Said, musician, songwriter, and host of the video docuseries Borderless.
I grew up, I was born in Cleveland, but we moved out of there when I was 2 months old and moved to western Pennsylvania, kind of northern Appalachia. It's beautiful. It's same mountains as West Virginia. And I was always a country boy at heart from that kind of youth, right? My childhood was spent looking for bear caves. And
when did you start playing music?
Oh, I started before I can remember. I came from a musical family. My mother played piano, and she's from Vienna, Austria, and so a musical place, and insisted all the kids had to play music. So we had to choose an instrument at a young age that we were going to study. But being the youngest of 4, all of my older siblings were already playing, so I don't remember not playing piano. I remember even at 3 years old composing, making songs up at the piano. I got my first violin when I was 4.
Stephan's played a lot of different kinds of music over the years. He studied classical music as a kid. He learned how to play old-time fiddle. He's played jazz. And he even toured the country with a punk band.
I was playing fiddle with a group called Always August, and so there I was 17. We were doing shows with Meat Puppets and Fire Hose and all of them. Wow. Sonic Youth, whatever. But I was 10 years younger than everybody.
Just a kid.
I was way in over my head, but I was so lucky and to be exposed to that. But I also had a very pointed kind of epiphany doing that, I just remember coming back from a national tour, and we were playing in Tulsa, Oklahoma on the way back. And then after we played in Tulsa, going across the heartland and through these farm fields, and we were playing in the context where there's lots of really loud, angry music that was very spot on politically, like addressing it. But I just remember thinking, yeah, but the people we need to be reaching are all these people in these farms and all this, and we're never going to reach them by screaming and banging them over the head. But that's who we need to be getting with, and that's when I was just like, I want to go find something else. I want to, I was really formative then. And that's when I took off to Europe and started migrant farm working, and after that, and divorced myself of commercial culture. I didn't listen to radio, I didn't listen to records, and I just, on the migrant farm working circuit, everything was word of mouth. Music was handed down.
So eventually you come back to the States, and I mean, from what I get from reading about you is that you really kind of embody the folk tradition. You're not really kind of in the scene where you're hanging around with Fire Hose and the Minutemen, and you were kind of seeming more like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie, no?
I was in all, and I still am, stridently in every style of music, because I think there should only be one style based. There only is music, and to me, if I'm really folk, it's more that it's in the ethos that there be a music that includes everybody, just like a great society should include everybody, and a real democracy should include everybody. So by that token, yeah, did I learn and really do I know and kind of embody that old folk tradition? Yes, but I also really wanted to reinvent it for a day and age where that combines hip-hop and rap and every world folk music and right, and puts them together in a new music that can reunite us. Because right now everybody's just target marketed, segregated from each other more than I think any generation's ever seen.
When you first started to kind of get on the scene and become more known and popular, I think it was the Village Voice that termed you as the heir apparent to Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
You're smiling as I say that.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing my acoustic music mostly. But, I was still, you find me on a Ween record or hanging out with guys in punk bands or in hip-hop groups or whatever. I was always all over the place, but yeah, I was expressing myself at that point in time playing acoustically. And I wanted that because I wanted to be straight up and I wanted to be clear and simple and understood, and I wanted to make sure that people knew where I was coming from.
Some say hate's what caused this crime. Some say Giuliani time. Blame hate on mayor, blame police. All of us must hold this peace. Somehow one body gotta heal and grow.
When you recorded the Ballad of Abner Louima with Patti Smith, you recorded that under the name of Stephan Smith, no?
Actually, I hadn't decided. I had been performing as Stephan Said, but I would already decided my name was going to be Stephan Said. Since I came to New York, that's all I was for a couple of years, and I built my reputation and my career. And I was being courted by major labels at that point in time. And literally, I couldn't decide because major label record execs, two of them, had told me that there's no way I could have a career in America with an Arabic name. And I didn't know what to do. I became, at that moment that I recorded the song with Patti, I was, oh my God, am I going to put this song out as Said or as Smith? Patti, to her credit, was like, I like Said,
But there was a lot of pressure from record executives. So Stephan's professional name became Stephan Smith.
I cried about it. I still cry about it. I cry about it. It crushed me. As an artist, as a voice, and, as a person of principle, as a poet, where every single thing that I do depends upon truth.
In 2004, he changed his professional name back to Said.
I can't lie to myself and still be the poet that I want to be to serve humankind in the way that I've committed myself to. It's just a matter of integrity. I just feel like that's who I am, that's who I was born, and that's who I should be. This song, I actually want to go back to West Virginia and make the music video for it. I filmed a bunch of stuff for it when I was down in Houston for Hurricane Harvey. The song's called I Believe in America. In the Appalachian town where I grew up, we're losing jobs every day. So I went across the country, but it seemed about the same down in Louisiana and LA. It's like a hurricane coming down on us from the drugs and the poverty. And for all that freedom means today is inequality. But in my heart I know if there's a hope, it's inside of you and me. And I believe in America. And I believe in a dream. And I believe in America. 'Cause I believe in you and me. You and me. The kid next door's looking awful bored, playing Xbox and I don't believe the news no more. The only thing he sees on his TV is all the things America ain't supposed to be. He's planning on taking a gun to school, but he don't even know why. And all the men behind the curtains just taking us for a ride. But there ain't no way they're gonna win this one, 'cause this dream is never gonna die. And I believe in America. And I believe in a dream. And I believe in America. 'Cause I believe in you and me. And you and me. My brothers are fighting in a foreign land, risking his life for someone else. He's trying to give to the rest of the world what some of us ain't got ourselves. And the politicians on every side can't find a change of heart. Instead of bringing us all together, they just ripping us all apart. But in my heart I know if there's a way, it's right here about to start. 'Cause I believe in America. And I believe in a dream. And I believe in America. 'Cause I believe in you and me. You and me. That's the kind of music I think we need. We need songs that like, hey, no, this ain't a hip-hop song or a country song. This is an everybody song.
What is your hope and intention? What is it that you hope to achieve?
Well, I hope to be able to find people and lift the stories of people who really are just crossing boundaries and making the world that we want to see today, right now. They're just doing the great work that no matter where you came from, you would think, wow, this is inarguably good. And it tells a story that shows that there's hopefully a majority of humankind across the whole planet that basically wants the same things.
What do they want? What do they want?
They want to live in peace. They want to live equally. They know that the sustainability of the whole planet depends on us finally living more equally together, economically and socially. These are common sense things I think even children get. But we live in a generation now where we basically have to be the first generation that actually starts to make that dream a reality, that dream that was Christ's dream or was MLK's dream or whoever you might relate it to, that eternal dream of humanity. People feel that way all around the world.
If you go to the Borderless website at thisisborderless.com, there's a kind of video clip that you see over and over. Stephan leading a group of people in common song. You can feel the pleasure that they get from his performance, and you can feel the joy that he gets from performing. I completely get this. I mean, I'm a musician, and over the years I've played for many a crowd, big and small. And I know the experience of performing a song that everybody knows and loves to sing. And when this happens, it can feel like a balm with healing properties. And for a brief moment, it seems like all the crap in the world just falls away. And there's unity, if only just for a little while. But to be transported away only for a little while can be of great importance to the people that Stephan Said encounters, folks recovering from the devastation of war or natural disaster. For them, a song can be the start of the healing.
We are one, and we're many. We are one to be free. We the people marching onward till we get equality.
Stephan's most recent project was to go to Charlottesville, Virginia, on the one-year anniversary of the violent clashes between counter-protesters and white nationalists that led to injuries and to a death. While he was there, a large group of people gathered together to sing his song, We the People. At the top of the show, I said I was interested in speaking with Stephan because he makes us and them kind of music. But I think I had it wrong. I think Stephan is making us music. You've been listening to Us and Them. Our team for this episode is me, Trey Kay, Chris Julin, and Loretta Williams. Michael Lipton and Tristan Lozow wrote and performed the Us and Them show music. Mark Lerner designed our logo. The wonderful people at PRX and West Virginia Public Broadcasting make Us and Them possible. So do grants from the West Virginia Humanities Council, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the CRC Foundation, and the Daywood Foundation. Us and Them was originally developed with the assistance of the mentorship program at AIR, the Association of Independents in Radio. Hey, if you'd like to view some of the video clips of Stephan Said's music, we've posted some links on our show page at usandthempodcast.com. And as we close, I wanted to mark that this is the first Us and Them episode since the fall of 2015 that hasn't been touched in some way by Mitch Hanley. For nearly 3 years, Mitch poured his talent and heart into Us and Them and really helped this podcast grow by many notches. Mitch has moved on to join the production team for WGBH's The Ground Truth Project. I'm still reeling not to be working with this incredibly kind and talented man. Mitch, I want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, talent, patience, and encouragement. I and the rest of this team miss you dearly. We wish you the very best. And we'll see the rest of you next time on Us and Them.
Support for this podcast comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
From PRX.